Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to Sips of Sanity for October 2020. Sips of Sanity is our mini podcast series where we cover emotional intelligence and intuitive intelligence. The first episode, like today, is always free to the public. The rest of the episodes are found on patreon.com/by-Sarlo. There's a whole whack of tools in there over and above Sips of Sanity if people are looking for more personalized tools to follow up with everything that you're hearing today. So go ahead, Karen.
So I'm Karen Sarlo.
Oh, and I'm Kelly Sarlo.
I know our regulars know that.
Yeah.
But hopefully there are people that are brand new to the channel and listening today. I called this series for October Getting to Know Yourself Month.
This is a really nice follow-up because everything is about being in touch with your internal experience so that you can have a better external experience as well.
Yeah.
So
I think too, Kelly, it's to help people understand that some people, and I would imagine not many that are going to stay tuned and listen to our show, would be people that try to get in touch with themselves versus the people who don't want to be. And they're the ones that typically would get off of our show right about now when they hear, oh, shit, this is going to be work. Don't want to do that. They would rather work on other people, right?
or stuff.
Yeah, or stuff in life.
Stuff and things.
Yeah, than themselves. So if you're one of those people and you are going to stay tuned today, welcome. We're glad you're here. Because, you know what, Kelly, I think just as we go through life, hopefully, many of us as human beings have that moment where we go, what is going on inside? Why am I focusing on all the outside stuff? And I think during COVID, that's been huge.
Or why am I entirely unfocused?
So this whole week, people are going to hear a ton of questions.
Okay, now you have 6.
I do.
Sips is 5, one day for every day of the week.
Yeah.
The first of the month. And then we're going to do an extra bonus one for patrons.
Yes. And hopefully that will make our patrons really happy they are. They will feel super excited and happy to see that they get tons of bonuses. And for the people that are listening for the first time, if they hear the first show and go, whoa, they treat their patrons well. What's a patron? Then, go check that.
I want to be that. What is that?
Yeah, go check that out. And I realize this show is going to draw a lot upon our life experiences and your professional background. And that's part of the reason I'll say is to have everybody listening to it access the stuff that you've learned too. As a life coach, a degree in psychology, and so on, all the different things that you've done with your life. So it's just going to pull in a whole bunch of stuff.
And we also give lots of personal experiences so that people can, hear firsthand what a good example is and then be able to draw their own parallels. And I always like to say, too, especially when we're in client sessions, I'm going to share a personal example so you can be off the hot seat for a second.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, when they're grasping or trying to grasp new concepts, their head goes into so many different directions that they can feel confounded, even though what they're trying to learn is quite simple. And so if we can just have an example where their emotions aren't involved, their experience and consequences aren't involved, then maybe they can just go, oh, I get it, and then be able to reflect on their life.
Well, that's a skill. To be able to do everything that you've just said.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
And those are all steps in process, which is a universal law, the universal law of process. So if anybody just went, what? There are more universal laws than just abundance? Or attraction, so I can get everything I want? Yeah, there are tons. And if you're listening to it and you're sitting down, scratching on a piece of paper quickly, universal law of process, go back to our website, go back into the history
of our longer series
of the podcast, Coffee with the Sarlos, and you will find many of the universal laws. And if that's just too much, too difficult, and you get overwhelmed with that idea of doing that, email us.
For what?
For help.
With what?
How to get to Coffee with the Sarlos or how to get to a show.
Okay. It's the website.
Oh,
People can typically type in a website and then it says podcast. And I'm saying this on purpose because speaking of the universal law of process, people tend to rush, assume they don't know what they're doing, and then feel dumb and maybe put up a block, which we'll probably talk about on day 2 or 3. But if you can slow down and just read, you will find a way.
I love this. I know, like, what's playing out right now between the two of us is something that I know some listeners are going to sit back and identify with what I've said. Here, we will help you. And those are often people who have been abused and need help, or who have been verbally abused or gaslit their whole lives, and are terrified or just too scared to even go and search a website. Or think that they can't do it before they even try.
Yep.
And that there are a lot of anxieties that get triggered as soon as someone says, you can find this here, and they shut down immediately and go, I can't. And I went to the place of, there's help, and you went to the place of, slow down and create a process. You're okay to do it.
Yeah.
Go slow, read, listen to what we say and do. And I just wanted to speak to the fact that there are 2 options. And we're talking about getting to know yourself month. And this is one of the things I personally have been through in getting to know myself, which is what just occurred. I was the person that would have said, I can't do it, and run up to you and said, can you help me? And you would have said, did you read it? Did you look? You took the time to ask me the questions, sit at your desk, type this in. And I sat there and typed it in and then waited for the next step. And then eventually you gave enough long pauses for me to go, oh, I found it. I got it. And because you gave me the pause with no stress involved of being ridiculed or criticized or put down, I was able to slow down enough, not feel the anxiety, or at first I felt the anxiety, but I would slow down enough to do that little bit of step, find my success, feel good enough about myself. And so the next time I wasn't quite as quick to reach out to you. And then eventually came the day where it was, I will try it all on my own first. And if I can't do it, then I will ask someone for help. So there's a beautiful...
I wasn't expecting that.
Me neither. That was not on this page to talk about. But it just presented itself quite well. And I do think that if any people that are listening that maybe have a mom or a dad that, well, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. And it's like, I need my children to help me. For them to hear that it's a level of anxiety, for them to hear that they're afraid of being ridiculed or put down or made to feel old or stupid or whatever, fill in the blank, that there's been a pattern in their past where they have been made to feel that way.
Whether it was you that made them feel that way or not.
Right. And it is in them. So that anxiety is there. And sometimes we don't understand why or what is going on. And so when we finally slow down enough and present processes with patience and care and connection, instead of the ridicule, the making fun, oh, you're so stupid, or, oh, there you go again, mom doesn't know what she's doing, or, I guess you're getting older. Like, all of those things that add to the stress only create the block between the two of you more. And some people don't realize that they contribute to it by their own comments, by their own behavior, and that they actually create the pattern themselves. And then they wonder why that person relies on them and they're annoyed by it. But they've been part of creating it. So slowing it down and showing them right there a healthy process is a good way to get to know yourself. Good way to get to know your own anxieties and your own triggers.
We haven't even started show 1.
Well, I think we did.
Yeah.
So, because it doesn't have to be the things that I wrote down on the page.
It does for my brain. I know that about myself.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I need
Explain that.
I need process. I need systems. And as much as I can say that, I think that anyone who also listens to other episodes of Coffee with the Sarlos will go, yeah, but she's also wildly flexible, because I sit down during every show having no idea what the topic is, and I go with it. But Sips presents differently. It's very structured for listeners, and so I need to be able to follow along and provide that, so we don't end up on 2 different pages recording 6 times.
Oh, I like your smug look. Okay, I want to throw in the universal law of flexibility.
Yeah.
Which is also on Coffee with the Sarlos. And that maybe during all of these shows, which I was not expecting to do, but maybe it would be lovely, is for us to keep throwing out universal laws. And maybe we will just keep saying that they are available at Coffee with the Sarlos, so that people can go back and reference those shows as they're hearing this, because everything will just make so much more sense. And it will also just help you take such a deep breath and be able to let go of the anxiety around what we're talking about. Because as we're talking about how you get to know yourself, people might feel anxiety. Okay. So I wrote down, how do I know myself? And then I wrote, what do I believe? That's a biggie. And I think that's a never-ending question, actually.
So sorry, you've posed 2 questions already. How do I get to know myself?
Yeah.
So
In answer to that, one of the questions is,
to explore what you believe.
you got it. So if I want to know who I am, what are my beliefs? One of the best things I think you and I ever did in Coffee with the Sarlos was have authors on. And we had Beverly and Jell on, talking about the core beliefs of the people pleaser, the 10 unhealthy ones and the 10 healthy core beliefs. That is a great place for anybody to start, is a show like that, or a book like that, or with an author like Beverly and Jell, because she actually goes right to the core of our behaviors to help us discern what we actually believe underneath. Because
The root.
yeah. And my second question here is, what do I do and what do I say? Those were the next 2 questions. And the third one was, are they even congruent? Because,
Love it.
well, and I know as a people pleaser, I was never freaking congruent. I know that I said one thing and that I did the opposite.
Okay. This is neat. I think we can take this in a lot of different directions.
go.
Because if you do bother to explore what those belief systems are first, and can I use you as an example of with people pleasing? If you were to actually understand that I believe that everyone else knows better than me, that's one of the false beliefs. And also I believe or have bought into the idea that everyone else's needs are more important than my own, then those 2 operating systems that are running in the background of everything that I do, which is the second part, is in fact congruent with that belief system.
Right.
Because I run around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to meet everyone's needs, anticipate everyone's needs, say yes over and over again because I believe theirs is more important than mine. And then from there, I second guess myself all the time and assume if I need to know something or learn something, I should go ask someone else.
100%.
But that's where I wanted to illustrate, in fact, it is congruent.
I get that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I want to say that it isn't congruent with your own soul.
Oh, totally fair. But I think that's on another level that we can't really touch just yet if people are just getting to know themselves.
Right. But I still want to point it out.
Yeah.
Because so many people now, especially people who are following us, are the people that are actually trying to figure out to say, what is my soul and who am I? And they might not call it a soul. They might just think, who the heck am I?
And we do have people coming into personal sessions in our own actual like professional businesses who are asking better questions now.
Oh, yeah.
And may from this podcast say, okay, I'm booking an appointment because I want to know if how I'm behaving is now congruent with who I am.
Oh my God.
Which is
that
exciting.
makes me so happy. I was just, oh my God, Kelly. I was going to say that makes me so horny. But I mean, like, you know, when you say, because something's such a good thing. All right.
This one's public. And so as we're recording and I'm talking, my brain is also in editing mode. And I'm like, could that be the trailer? Could that be the teaser trailer? And it's like, gotta edit that out.
Well, I think people sure should know by now that when somebody says that makes me so horny, it means because it turns me on. The idea that people are going to call and say, are my soul and my life incongruent now? Yeah, that's my sweet spot.
Yeah.
That's exactly the path that this career is on, is to have that kind of client call or person call and want to know these types of things. And it's happening.
I totally get it. What did I just say to you on our lunch break today? Eric was like, oh man, I'm really looking forward to therapy today. And I was like, I'm so attracted to you right now.
Yeah.
Because
That's hot.
Yes.
That's attraction, because you know then that he's connecting to himself. Therapy is trying to connect to yourself, trying to understand who you are.
Which means that I will actually, as a partner, have something to connect to.
Yes. You're finishing my sentence.
I know, but there's a bingo square on our bingo cards where it says Kelly jumps ahead. So I'm just, I don't have the sheet out with me right now, but I'm thinking people are kind of hovering and being like, come on, Kelly. You haven't jumped ahead yet.
Right. Okay. I think I've horn laughed. Right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've horn laughed.
Yes.
Okay. So we're talking about congruency in what we say and what we do and what we think, what we believe. And I know some people, let's challenge people. Let's challenge people listening perhaps to just try and figure out they could do it in any way, shape, or form. I've done it in all different kinds of ways. You can write down something about, I think I'm an honest person. I believe I'm honest. I believe I'm a good friend. I believe I'm a true friend. And then watch your behavior. Watch your conversations with other people about your friendships. So you might think, oh no, I'm a really good best friend.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And then you might be out with a different friend and you're talking badly, smack talking, about your friend that you think you're such a good friend to.
Oh,
so there's a lack of congruency.
Okay, can I do a pause then?
Yeah.
Because if we dial it back to what do I believe? To me, like we're looking at the belief systems, not what I believe I am. So please don't make your list. And I know this probably isn't what you meant, but if people are listening and they're going, oh, so that's the kind of stuff she wants on the list. I'm a good friend. I'm a good this. No, go into what you actually believe, not about who you are, but about what you actually value. So if you believe that a good friend is someone who listens well or is kind or is patient or honest, like write those things down. As opposed to, I'm a good friend.
I love both processes.
Okay, I'm saying this because if you're writing the list, I'm a good friend, I'm a great teacher, I'm a supportive partner, then you're making statements that are not something that you're observing objectively. And at that point, you're also likely not going to want to challenge them. But if you can sit there and think a good listener is someone who is silent, then you can actually sit there and go, okay, and am I that? Do I do that? And then we can answer the congruency questions far easier than, how do I know if I'm congruent if I just believe I'm a good friend? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I think that could have been a very confusing activity. Otherwise.
No, that's great. What you've given them in a process is perfect for that example. Okay. Very nice.
Very nice. Could I have a sticker? I collect stickers.
I will get some stickers.
Thank you. I request Michael's. We don't get paid to say that. We don't get paid for anything. Move on.
I think we're almost done this one.
Great.
I wrote an example, but I think what you just did and how you explained it kind of sums up the rest of what I had written down, or where I was going with it. And that was, I wrote down an example of, I'm very giving, but then I wrote a question for them to ask of themselves, what do I actually give? So it is to create in questions more process for them to actually be self-reflective so that they can't skip over it. But you just did that. So that's why I said, oh, okay. You finished the show nicely.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, you did.
I want to say too, like, we don't often do this as a very obvious plug in our shows, but if you struggled with today's show, book an appointment.
Oh, yeah.
If you're like, I've got the headline for the list I'm supposed to make, but I have no idea how to actually make the list, like, log into a meeting on Zoom because we're still in COVID, and learn. Ask those questions. Let your guides direct you, or book a life coaching assessment, and let's do this together, because these are processes that you can easily be walked through, and it's far easier when someone can kind of guide you through it if you're stuck at first even knowing what you believe.
Right.
Or what beliefs are.
Yes, because Sips of Sanity is about giving tools and encouraging people to think and to go down this journey. But quite often, the people that listen to these shows book these appointments to do exactly
regularly.
This. Yes. And they work on that on a regular basis. They're the ones that book once a month and check in and get some of this stuff done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well.
And I'll say too, like, yes, they book regularly, but there are some people in those tiers on Patreon where they're at the point where they come twice a year for a tune-up. And that's their words, not ours, where they just think, okay, I'm here for maintenance. I'm checking in with my soul, making sure what I'm doing is still what I'm supposed to be. You know, I'm on track.
Well, on Patreon, they also get the reflective questions and trackers and all the other stuff to get this work done.
Yeah, and I want to throw out the words time and consistency. Because if you're listening to today's free show and you're thinking, okay, good, got it. I know what to do now. Okay, great. But please remember, as we mentioned, the universal law of process, you need both time and consistency.
Absolutely.
For any kind of change to actually occur.
Yeah, and check-ins and lots of things. Good communication skills. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So are we done for today?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you.
Oh, anytime.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Thanks. Okay, so if you guys have questions or comments about today's show, you can email us at info@bysarlo.com. If you tuned in from YouTube today, if you can take a moment just to subscribe to the channel, that would mean the world to us. The logo in the bottom left corner or bottom right corner, is the subscription button. If you're tuning in by audio, thank you so much for finding us, whether you're on the website or your favorite podcast platform. We appreciate that. Any likes, shares, comments, reviews, testimonials really help us spread the reach. So if you found something of value today and you're sharing it with someone, thank you so very much for helping us change the world one person at a time. Have a great Monday.